So I am a makeup artist here in Wichita. I'm currently in a school, an aesthetic school. I will be done in September. Looking at September with COVID and everything going on. I am married. We have been married for 9 years, and we have four little girls: Brooklyn, London, Madison, and Jordan. Ages from 11 to 3 years old. We're very busy. The girls are doing anything from dance. My husband, he just got certified as a personal trainer, so he's kind of picking that up a little bit. I've been working on trying to pick up my clientele with makeup and lashes and just, facials and things like that. So yeah, that was something that was very hard for me to grasp in the beginning. But the way that I do it is making lists and prioritizing. That's just what works for me. I know the best thing that has ever happened to me is being a mother. So that's top priority. So I put that at the top of the list. So sometimes I can't go out and hang out. Sometimes the way that I prioritize my work comes second to my kids, but sometimes it comes first to my kids because the way I provide for them. So it's just about prioritizing that, and especially, of course, putting at the top of that list being a wife. So I think it's just day by day, just seeing what has to be done, what are the long-term vision for the family, what we have in place, and just, just making those lists and checking them off and being realistic about them, and making sure everyone feels like an individual, everyone's heard, and that you just kind of try to tend to everyone as you can. And I know you guys probably deal with that because you guys are mothers of multiple kids too. That can be pretty hard.
Most definitely, it is.
Definitely a challenge sometimes. And um, even as they've aged, and you have, again, multiple kids that are at different stages and different ages. And I think that's been a challenge sometimes for me, is like, I can't continue doing the same thing I was doing when they were toddlers, or,
Mm-hmm.
so it's different now. I have girls, my twins are 12, and then my son is 9. And so the way that I parent them is a little bit different. And so, juggling that initially was, okay, I got this toddler thing. And then they grew up a little more. And I was like, wait, hold on. So now I got to,
Yeah.
do a little bit
Mm-hmm.
different. So it definitely is, it changes. I think it goes in phases, and different things that you might do for one child is going to be different for the other child. And so even with my twins, the way that I interact and, maybe discipline them is a little bit different for each of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, so
Um, I would have to say just keeping in mind, like I said, that they're each individuals. We grew up just kind of like if you're in trouble, you're all in trouble, and just kind of just keeping in mind, just her mistakes are not her mistakes, are not her mistakes, not her mistakes. Not four little girls, and so having four girls, that is very important to me. So just keeping them separate as individuals, their personalities, what they like, their dislikes, even the way they react to things, like you were saying, even with your twins, being twins, you got to discipline them probably differently. Their expectations in school may be a little bit different, or behaviors, just things like that. So the difficulties that I have run into has just been, just keeping them individuals. But that has become easier as they've grown because they don't allow you to not remember that. Anyway.
yeah, that's definitely, again, having twins. They don't understand why people don't know them apart at this point, especially like family members and friends of theirs, people at school. They're like, what do you mean you don't know me? I'm Jordan. I'm Jada. Like, we don't understand why you don't get it at this point. And so
Yeah.
I can definitely see it with your girls being close in age. They're like, hold on now. You know who I am. My name is, so it's
Right.
really important, I think, for them to have their individuality. Like, they are their own individual person. And they're slowly, adapt or changing as they grow as well. So that's big.
True. I don't have girls. I have boys, but they are on me keeping them and treating them separately and
Yeah.
different. They are like, Mom, I didn't do that. That was Aaron. Or that was Aaron. Why am I getting in trouble? And
Yeah.
I hold him. I kind of hold Adrian accountable. Like, you're the big brother. You should be teaching him. in a way, but I'm trying to get better at not holding him accountable for his little brother's mistakes.
Mhm. Love, protection, and uh, this is so hard. Just I would say blessing. The best thing about being a mother is someone else telling me about them, something about them that I see too. Like something beautiful, like when someone is like, oh my God, your daughter, is, she's such a leader, or she took this, she's helping this kid or whatever. And it just makes me so proud to know that what's happening here is being, they're really taking it out there. I mean, that goes both ways. So sometimes the principal's office and you're like, okay. But for the most part, when it's positive, I would have to say just when other people are complimentary to your children and traits that are positive that you try to instill in them.
That's really good. I like that. That is sometimes surprising. You're like, oh, my child? No.
Yeah.
But, like you said, you try to instill those things, those good qualities in your child so that, again, they can be good adults, right? And I think when you do get those, compliments, even out in public, if it be a complete stranger, if it be the teacher to the principal, I think that's really big to know that you're doing kind of the right thing. Like, okay, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it right. So that's good.
Right. And I have to say, one of my very best friends, she's a single mother. And so we have a realistic conversation all the time of privileges that people have. You think of privilege, white privilege, or, privilege of money, but I have marital privilege. So I can go to Quick Trip real quick and my kids can be here and my husband can be here watching my kids. So that's not a privilege that people always have. So I do understand on my end where it can be easier, where looking in, it can be like, man, it can seem so easy. But on the other side, dealing with four kids, different ages, different personalities, and being married. It's like that. It's being married. It is a union and it's working together. That is one of the things that is so helpful, positive, and that is a plus. But it's also you're still an individual in a relationship. So he brings his ideals of what raising kids is, and so do I. And we're still melding those together. So as being single, you're raising your kids how you want to for the most part, and your ideals, and you're going to the church that you want to go to. You're singing to where you want to. Whereas if you're in a marriage, and hopefully this has been talked about before you got married. But sometimes, as kids grow, things change. So the advice that I would give is just to, just every moment, whatever relationship you are in or you're not, just be true to whatever that is. If you're single and you're with your kid, that's a blessing in its own self. And being married and being able to have kids under, a union is a blessing, has its own blessings, and then it has its own struggles as well. So I was just saying, like, where you are, just kind of take those advantages and go with that. I see both sides though, honestly. I could see where it could be difficult. Like I said, I empathize with my friend sometimes with, some of the arrangements and things that she has to make, where I can just kind of be like, hi.
Right.
Just for an example.
Yeah, that is big. I think I like the way you put it, as a privilege, because like Breezy said, us looking in, and sometimes I think we kind of we may not see it that way. We might be a little envious sometimes, like, she got a husband, like, what's she complaining about? And so we can quickly put our words or judgment upon you, and know that, again, you still have some hills to climb, and some hurdles to get over as well when you're in that marriage. And I think through these conversations, I think it brings a light to a lot of things that maybe initially as single moms we didn't think about. So I appreciate that you can, share your wisdom with us and be able to kind of just tell us, like, hey, like, I got to compromise a whole lot You ain't got to do that.
Yeah.
It's my way.
Yeah.
It like that is it, and I don't have to worry about calling up dad to say, hey, do you think this, that, or the other? Because this is my home. This is how we operate here, and that's it. And my kids ask,
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Because I said so. No, But
And on the flip
like
side, and on the flip side, being married, it is such a blessing. And I would always, if that is what your vision is for yourself to get married, I would always say, just make sure, you and your fiance, your spouse, you guys are equally yoked. And we went through marriage counseling, so we were on the same page with that, with, how we raise our kids and things like that. And I will say that I do feel like, it's an advantage, but like you said, it goes both ways.
So, Dominique, our blog is called Boldly, Freely, and Faithfully Living. It stands for BFF. And so Breezy and I are best friends. And we want to know, how do you live boldly, freely, and faithfully through Christ?
The way that I live boldly, freely, and faithfully through Christ is just being true to who I know He's called me to be. And that has taken time. I would say that's something that has come in my 30s. I'm 33 years old. It's something that's come in my 30s, just being patient with myself, allowing myself to have mistakes, allowing myself to hear Him for myself. And He allows me to be who I am. And because of that, even if there is something that I may not be comfortable with, or I may be scared to do, I know that after speaking with Him, I can freely do those things. I can boldly do those things, and I can do them, without remorse or having to look back. It's not always easy, but I would say my relationship with Christ, and just being honest and open with Him, allows me to just be who I am. And it's taken time. It has taken time. It's not something that's been easy for me at all. It's been like within the last 3 years.
So with that, and I can agree and attest to the same thing. So with those changes, what have you done, I guess, through those last 3 years that would have been different from the years priors that have kind of taken you to another level in your relationship with God?
You said, what are the things that's taken me to another
Yeah.
level?
So what are those things that you've done in the last 3 years that have taken you kind of your relationship with God to the next level?